Hello and welcome to Art with Mr. P. This week we're going to be focusing on drawing, and I've purposely chosen activities so that you can use things that you probably have readily at hand at home. If you haven't got them at home, well, you can probably get them fairly cheaply online. Now, these lessons are only starting points and you can use them just to get going on an activity. Like I say, we're doing drawing this week, but there's no reason why you have to stop when I stop, and you can keep going and use and build on the skills that we've been working on throughout the year. Now, today we're going to be focusing on line as one of the visual elements, and you'll probably remember that Paul Klee said that a line is a dot taken for a walk. You'll probably also remember from what we've talked about over the last few years that when a line crosses itself, it makes a shape. And if you repeat that shape, just like in numeracy, when you repeat something, you get a pattern. And if you repeat that pattern, you'll probably have a texture. Remember, texture is about how things look, how they feel. So I'll just say that again. What we're looking at this week is line, shape, texture and pattern, and you'll probably end up, before you've finished, adding a little bit of colour as well. And these are the visual elements. And the visual elements are the things that artists use to make their work convincing. So we're thinking about exploring the visual elements. Now, I'm going to use this broad marker, which is like a thick felt pen, so that you can see it on screen. But I would hope that you would use maybe a thick marker and a thinner marker, a finer marker, a thick pencil, a thin pencil, maybe a dark pencil, maybe a light pencil, some selected colours, maybe 2 or 3 colours, maybe a handwriting pen, maybe some charcoal. It's up to you. Now, we've been talking about exploring the visual elements, and I would like you to explore line to show different kinds of weather. Now, if you get your piece of paper and you split your piece of paper up into 6 roughly equal areas, but they don't have to be the same shape. So it could look like that, or it could be the other way around. Now, in one of these shapes, I'd like you to put rain. Using line, I'd like you to show rain. Now, what does rain look like? It could look like that. Now, do you see how you get a sense of movement because I'm flicking the pen? When the rain hits the ground, of course, it'll make that mark, won't it? Some very big raindrops there. And you can keep going. You could do this in, blue, couldn't you? What would snow look like? Well, snow might look like stars. I think the snow will get bigger as it comes down the page. How could you use colour to show the snow? I think I would definitely use blues and silver colours, if I were doing this in colour. Ice. Now then, what does ice look like? I think ice is very jaggy, isn't it? Yeah? Very jaggy, thick lines, yeah? Almost like teeth, aren't they? Not everyone's teeth, of course. And to try and make these look slightly three-dimensional, so they've got a thickness about them, as though you could walk around them, yeah? I'm going to put a little bit of sharp line around the edge to suggest tone, yeah? So it's like the shading. Okay, so we've got ice, so we've got rain, snow, ice, fog. Now, what on earth would fog look like? Well, I think, how can you draw something that you can't really see? Well, we all know that you can't draw the wind because you can't see that. You can draw things that look like the wind, that suggest the wind, yeah? So I think fog could be essentially a series of lines that block out the page, yeah? So if I keep going and you can't see anything, that's probably the fog. But what will happen is, somewhere in there you'll just get the idea of being able to see something. Okay, so I wonder whether that is someone waving in the fog. Okay, we can keep going with that. Now the wind, like I say, you can't see the wind, but you can suggest it, yeah? So if I had a tree bent over in the wind, and the wind is coming round the tree and pushing the tree over here. So we can make this look like a tree somehow. Try and make the bark look rough. If you imagine this in colour, and we've got all the leaves being blown in the wind. In actual fact, some of the leaves are coming off, aren't they? Quite tricky drawing the wind, because, like I say, you can't draw what you can't see. It's a little bit like trying to draw thunder. You can't, can you? You can draw lightning and suggest the thunder. So we've got wind on that one, and the sun. Well, sun is tricky in a way that if I draw this, what I'm actually drawing is a weather symbol, yeah? It's not what the sun looks like. We know the sun's a big round ball in the sky, yeah? But it doesn't have these kind of blinking eyelashes, yeah? If I really wanted to draw what the sun is, I think I would probably draw an object, maybe a cactus like this, with the sun in the background, but I wouldn't put the blinking eyelashes on. And then I would draw its shadow, yeah? Which is quite tricky, but it's essentially drawing the same thing again at an angle. But of course that's going to be dark, isn't it? because that's the cactus shadow. And that gives an idea of what it might look like. So, what I'm asking you to do is to use the visual elements of line and shape and pattern and texture, and to produce drawings that show 6 different kinds of weather. Yeah. Okay, so there we have it. And some on the wind one, a few leaves going away. Okay, so we've looked at the visual elements of line, shape, pattern, and texture. Don't be afraid to use some colour if you think it'll make your drawings better. Well done. We've used the visual elements, line, shape, pattern and texture, and I hope you've added some colour to show various ways of showing weather, just as a topic. Yeah? Weather appears in a lot of landscape painting, and if you'd like to follow this up, I'd like to suggest that you look at the work of Turner, who was probably the most famous Victorian painter, and he was very revolutionary and he's very good at painting weather. Yeah. So if you want to follow this up, a contextual link, look at some art history, look up the artist Turner.